Welcome to the island of La Gomera. We had one day here to explore before setting sail for Cape Verde the following day. Just made it to shore and it's starting to rain a bit, but we're going to see if we can rent a car.
You're doing great, Alex.
Thanks. Where am I going now?
Straight, I think. And then we're gonna go up to, well, maybe it was right there.
Oh my gosh, just stop filming. We made our way inland. The vegetation here is so lush and green, similar to what we saw in the northeastern part of Tenerife. It's pretty misty here due to the cloud build-up against the mountains, which makes for a fresh climate and lots of ferns and moss. It almost felt like being back in parts of Northern Europe, and I actually got a bit cold.
So we've arrived in San Sebastian, which is the capital of La Gomera. It's tiny, but it's really cute. They've got the Talisker rowing competition that comes, the transatlantic rowing event, race, I don't know exactly how to call it, but it comes through here so we can see them preparing for it. We're just going to go walk down the main street here and then maybe go for a beer here afterwards.
I just realised it might be our last night in Spain and we've been here since Menorca, which has been over a year now, like a year and a half, so crazy times.
I'm feeling weird. I'm feeling a bit sad.
I'm a bit sad too. It's like a second home for us now.
Yeah, it hasn't really hit home, but now that we're coming up to leaving tomorrow, it's starting to feel real. I'm also pretty nervous about being at sea for the next 7 days.
It's cool, we've got lots of books and podcasts.
Downloading all our audiobooks and podcasts there to make sure we don't go crazy.
Just meal prepping. We're making a cauliflower and beetroot curry and a broccoli and mushroom pasta sauce, creamy pasta sauce. And if I have time to do something else, then I might do like a chili or something. But Speedy Gonzalez over here. It was time for some final stretches before we set sail for good. I'm not gonna lie, I was feeling a little bit more nervous for this passage. We were finally leaving Europe, and at this point there was no real chance of turning back. I was also apprehensive as the wind was forecast to be quite strong, but this was our window as it was predicted to get even stronger in a few days' time, and we wouldn't be able to leave. It was also going to be our longest passage, crewing just the two of us. We had about 750 nautical miles ahead of us, so anywhere between 5 and 8 days.
Yeah, baby! Cape Verde, let's go!
We weren't off to the best start. About 2 hours in, we went to turn the water maker on, only to realise it wasn't working properly. So we dug out the manual, had a troubleshoot, and eventually managed to MacGyver something. It's been a bit of a bumpy ride so far. This is probably the first time we've come out into the cockpit, and I'm actually not even out of the cockpit, I'm still in the companionway. The swell's been really weird, quite big, quite short. Woo! Case in point. And it's just been breaking up against the hull. So yeah, it's not the most comfortable. And we've just spotted a ship on the horizon. I mean, I saw him on the AIS for a while, but I can actually see him now. Hello, people! We had purchased a bit of an unconventional sail called a round sail, and we were keen to try it out. Flying it has a few advantages: no wear and tear in your sails, a very comfortable ride with less rolling, and it can pull the boat downwind without an autopilot. We bought it as a potential backup for the Atlantic crossing, in case we ever lost steering or use of our primary sails. That's a bit better, right? Or too low? I think that looks pretty good. That is so weird. We just put it up. It's so strange to not have any sails on the boat and then have this thing flying in front of the boat, but it's actually way more comfortable. Just one of the reasons why we went for it in the end. This time though, the wind was not quite far enough behind us to stay on course, so we put our regular sails back up, but it was definitely fun to test it out anyway. Captain Underpants over here.
It's the most comfortable, I don't know. Jeans and trousers, like getting in and out of berths and lee cloths and up ladders and everything, just get in the way. This is full range mobility. What are you doing? I'm making myself a hot chocolate. I don't know if I'd realized how much effort this is going to be before I embarked on it. Maybe I would have done it.
So day one is complete, and yeah, it's been overall pretty successful. Boat's moving quite a bit, but we're making good way, and I don't feel seasick at all, so really happy. Neither does Lars. Felt a bit queasy yesterday, but when we left the anchorage I was already feeling queasy, so. And yep, I'm just in my little aft cabin bunk thing here. Lars is in the bunk in front just because it's way more comfortable. We tried sleeping at the bow last night, it was just really uncomfortable. So I wedge myself in against this wall and Lars wedges himself in against the other wall. Things are going well, except for the fact that the hose is a bit of a thing to explain.
Well, the water maker wasn't working yesterday, and we couldn't figure out what was wrong with it really. Well, Alex eventually figured it out, so quick thinking, opened up the manual, went into the troubleshooting guide, and guessed that maybe the problem is that the hose had gotten kinked somewhere, the hose from the saltwater hose. So luckily we had a spare on board that was pretty easily accessible, so we ran it through the cabin, which is what you're seeing now, is going from the seacock over there. And when we ran it with that, it worked, so whew, we almost had to divert course into El Hierro because we didn't have enough water on board to make it all the way, or it was a bit tight.
That almost hit me in the face.
Yeah, that was crazy. So this is my worst fear of what can go wrong underway. Our autopilot has failed. So Alex is outside hand steering right now. We've still got about 3 days of passage ahead of us. So this is a really bad situation. We obviously don't want to be having to be out in the cockpit 24/7, having to steer the boat. It's windy, rainy, cold. It's hard enough to kind of keep yourself rested and stuff anyway. So the hydraulic ram that connects to the rudder, the bolt where it makes that attachment, is just sheared. The bolt is just broken. So I'm going to go up under there and see if I can replace it, or at least get it attached in some way for the time being. And hopefully get this fixed before nightfall. You gonna be okay out here for a little bit?
I have to fix it.
Yeah. Look, just do your best. Don't freak out. Just try to keep it generally on track, but don't exhaust yourself. And I'll go and see what I can do. So here's the problem down here. We've got the steering gear at the back here. Probably can't see very well. It's really difficult to get to. So here you can see what went wrong. Right here is where the old bolt sheared. Like, you can still see the nuts there. I haven't even tried to take it out yet. Luckily there's another hole on the I forget what this piece is called, further along, and I've put a new bolt through there with some spacers, and that seems to be working. So hopefully that'll be enough to get us there.
So after the autopilot incident, oh, I've got ketchup on my face. Oh, she didn't tell me I had ketchup on my face.
I didn't notice.
Well, after the autopilot incident, we went to make a sandwich, and as we were making the sandwich, the wind just totally died. So we just turned on the engine to point into the wind and put the main up, which is what we've done now. And now the wind's coming from a really weird place, but we're in kind of like a close reach. I think the wind's just shifting, and we're just gonna try and make some water now that we've got the engine running, just to check that everything's working okay, and then we'll kill the engine and sail some more, hopefully. But the wind's totally died. What we didn't realize at the time, because we hadn't experienced it before, is that the wind had died due to an incoming squall. Things aren't doing that well right now. The autopilot went again because the nut that Lars used to put the new bolt in came out. So Lars had to go down and do that, and then as soon as that happened, I was on the helm and a huge squall came in. And we had the full main up, we had the head sail out, and so I asked Lars to come rushing up, and then yeah, it was just like stress stations basically, trying to get the main down and try to reduce the canvas. In the process, it was like, I mean, the head sail looks like it's ripped itself to shreds. We managed in the end, and then yeah, I was on the helm after. It's still blowing like 30 knots or something ridiculous right now, so yeah, just changed into some clean clothes and hoping, just like really crossing my fingers that the autopilot stays, because it's just like one thing after another all the time. It's just intense on your nervous system, and we still got quite a while to go, so yeah. So it's a new day and feeling so much fresher today because we took a shower this morning.
Autopilot is still working.
Hopefully it lasts that way.
How are you feeling about all of it?
Oh man, ups and downs, seriously. Like, I don't know, yesterday there was a point when I think my nervous system just couldn't take it anymore. Even last night we were up and down the whole time trying to put reefs in, take reefs out, right, at the main.
Yeah.
But it's been intense.
Yeah, I mean the idea of the autopilot not working was pretty scary, huh?
Yeah.
A lot, and then we tore the sail and we broke a reefing line, and the solar panel came off its mount.
Oh yeah, the solar panel came off its mount. Yeah.
Boats. This is kind of more how I expected it to be. 15 knots of wind, going along at 5 knots, chilled swell, and just generally like relaxed. Today is Tuesday. Tomorrow there's going to be a little bit more wind, and then Thursday is going to be quite a bit more wind again, and a lot of swell. So we were hoping to get in before Thursday, but we haven't made it fast enough. So we gotta think about just making sure we're properly shipshape and feeling good again for when that happens. We'll be ready for it.
We enjoyed the calmer conditions for the rest of the evening. The weather in this passage was quite cloudy overall, and there was no moon at night, so we didn't get the kind of sunsets and night skies that we'd experienced before. This evening though, we were lucky enough to get to experience our first African and only clear sunset of the passage.
kind of, I think. It might be good to get another shot. It's hard to see from here. It's all the way to the back.
Our mood was looking up as the days went by and the autopilot was still holding. We were still doing our best to try and get ahead of the 30-knot winds that were forecasted in a couple of days' time. The sea state was still pretty rolly, and there was a high risk of getting sprayed in the cockpit, so we would spend most of our days lying horizontally in the cabin and coming up to the cockpit to keep a look on things and to catch some fresh air.
This is basically where you spent the last last day here. We've got about 20 hours left until we get there. And we're both getting pretty excited to get there, but also kind of bored of the passage at this point. It's also pretty swelly and rolly and uncomfortable. So we're just looking forward to getting there. So I just come up on deck. Ooh, gosh. Didn't sleep much last night. And there's a few flying fish on deck. Poor guys. Must be kind of terrifying to be running from a predator, jumping out into what must feel like a totally different dimension, and then landing somewhere you don't expect, unable to breathe until you die.
We're in the last hours of the journey now, and we knew that it was going to get worse at this time. It was like 24 knots of wind, crazy swell. We just had the biggest wave I think we've seen break in the cockpit yet. I'm like sat on the navionics just looking at the distance. This boat is taking a beating. I don't like it.
I mean, it's actually not that bad. Like, it's alright. It's just pretty big waves, and we've only got a little bit of sail up, so the boat's not that stable. And so when the wave breaks against the boat, we just go flying. And there's a good 3 meters of swell at least. But nothing that Navika can't handle. It's just stressful with the sound of everything, kind of like the clanging inside the cupboards and the creaking of the wood, and like every now and then a wave really takes us and you just go flying. It's pretty hard to relax, but we should be getting into Sal at about 6 or 7 a.m. It's 9:15 now, so just gonna try and get a little bit of sleep before we get there, because this always takes a lot of energy to, you know, get in and anchor up and discover a new place and everything. So I'm gonna try and get some sleep, but I think it's gonna be pretty hard. Alright, we made it. That is Cape Verde behind me. It's about 7 o'clock in the morning. We're about an hour away from the anchorage. Sun is coming up, we've got good wind going in, and man, are we ready to get there. I cannot wait to just be still again.
Wow. Does it feel like a dream to you?
Yeah, I still feel half asleep.
Same. flag. We actually don't have a Cape Verdean flag on us yet, but we're going to put the quarantine flag up so that we haven't checked in yet, which is just a yellow flag.
I'm just gonna dig in.
Okay.
Victory.
First coffee in 6 days.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Prepared to get wired.
Obrigada.
We've got our negative PCR test, or antigen test. It's taken us all day. We had to bribe the guy to come over to our boat, otherwise it was going to take forever.
I mean, this whole thing has been like the most unofficial entry to a country I've ever experienced.
Let's go actually check in.
Yeah, let's do it.
And get a SIM card.
Yeah, let's go have some fun. Woo.
We got a SIM card and this thing, coconut.
A coconut thing. Oh my god, that's pure sugar.
Yeah.
We couldn't quite believe that we'd arrived in Cabo Verde, but we were pretty happy to get a break from being at sea. The passage was a quick one in the end due to the strong winds. We made it in 5.5 days, averaging 6 knots over 750 nautical miles. Thanks for watching this video, and a huge thank you to our lovely patrons who support us in the making of these videos. We'll see you next time for more adventures around Cabo Verde.